What's up, y'all? Welcome to another successful Sundays. I'm of course your host, Coach AJ, Dope Life Coach, the dopest life coach out there. How y'all doing? How y'all living? How y'all feeling? Happy Sunday. Today we're going to be talking about four mistakes that a lot of us entrepreneurs tend to, four steps that a lot of us entrepreneurs tend to miss out on. Because as we're getting and gearing up to planning and creating goals for 2026, and we're trying to set ourselves up for success and all these good things, and yada yada yada, we also have to keep in mind how to take care of ourselves. And it was something that I really had to this year, and how I have, in a sense, like dropped the ball a bit. I'm taking care of myself just a bit more. So before we even get into anything, let's just take three deep breaths. We're just gonna center ourselves for a moment. We're gonna take inhale through our nose, exhale it through our mouth. Okay. So inhale, exhale through our mouth. Now this time, I want you to think about any energy that has been heavy, anything that's been holding you back, anything that has made you feel not quite like yourself. I want you to think about that energy right now. And I want you to, when you're inhaling all the new energy, the things that prepare you for this week, the success you're going to have in 2026, all of that. And when you're exhaling, you're releasing all the energy that's holding you back and weighing very heavily on you. So inhale, good energy. Exhale, the energy that's holding you back. One more time. Inhale, good energy. Exhale, the energy that's holding you back. Let that out. Yes, so deep breathing is exceptionally important. I do it as often as I can, primarily because it helps me a ton. So let's get into it. Let's waste no time. I'm gonna bring y'all closer to me because, shoot, I'm trying to get comfy here. All right, so first things first, let's kind of tap into how how we got here. You know, I got notes. This is me. I always got notes. How we even got here, like what got us to normalize this way of not taking care of ourselves. There's a couple of factors, right? Most of us neglect ourselves on purpose because we wrap it into thinking that it's part of the struggle, it's part of the growth of entrepreneurship, that we're supposed to feel a bit of struggle. Yeah, you're gonna go through struggle in entrepreneurship. That is a given. But it doesn't mean that you have to neglect who you are. It doesn't mean that you have to neglect yourself. We kind of glorified the hustle culture for years. And we thought that if you hustle, you hustle, you hustle. That's the only way that you can build a business, you know, be in your entrepreneur journey. But the truth is, you don't have to hustle in a sense where you're neglecting yourself, neglecting your well being. Because if you, many businesses are starting off with one person and it's you. You are the CEO, the founder. Oftentimes, you are the person who has to do everything. You are the um, receptionist, the assistant, all wrapped in one. You have to book things. You have to probably do kit, whatever it is. You are the person. You're the key human in all of it. And we need to push past the pressure aspect. And by pushing past the pressure aspect, we have to also no longer allow ourselves to feel guilty for resting. Because if we're not resting, what can happen? If you're not taking care of yourself, burnout will kick in far faster than you think. And we may think burnout is just going to be for a short period of time. There's people who are living with burnout because the other thought of like stopping and pausing, the mere thought of that is uncomfortable. Especially it's cultural as well to constantly hustle and hustle and hustle. But when does it stop? When does it get to the point where you can actually work in a strategic and a flow? You feel me? Instead of constantly thinking that you have to just be in this hustle mentality. We need to start removing the hustle culture out of our vocabulary, out of our businesses. There's a moment where it's necessary, don't get me wrong, but we sometimes attach it with shame and guilt for just sitting back and taking a moment to rest or taking a season to rest. So, for example, for me, this December has been my slow months on purpose. The beginning of the year, I wrote down how I wanted my year to go, when I wanted to grind, and when I wanted to take moments of rest. And I said to myself, December, we're taking a massive scale back. At the beginning of it, it was very uncomfortable, primarily because I quick remember I'm just learning. I'm learning to undo this thought process as well. I was thinking in my head like I should be doing more. Then I had to say to myself as a client, and, sometimes as coaches we are our own clients as well, right? We start with ourselves. I said to myself like, yo, honestly, who's telling myself that I should except me? So if I'm telling myself I should, that means I could actually take a step back and chill. So let me just do that. And it's rewiring my brain to have moments of rest because when January hits, I'm going to be hitting the ground running. It's going to be a very busy month. So why would I not take these next few weeks to just recuperate from 2025 to gear up for 2026? One of the steps that we feel in terms of the hustle culture and constant going, constant moving, it's a trap. It's an identity trap. And oh man, I'm okay. Whatever. I'm gonna be real. On social media, there's a lot of people who are playing a certain role, but it's not who they are. So when you're taking that mask off, you get to see the real version of them, and sometimes you're confused. You're like, this is not what I saw in your 60-second piece of content. Especially if they were to go live or something like that. Sometimes you're like, oh, this is who you are. This is really who you are, and you forget like they forget that they were playing a role to get you to watch that live. But if you look at my content, to be very honest with you, what you see is what you get. I'm the same person on live. I'll never change. I'll never shift because I know authenticity is what draws people into your service. My mentor said this the other day to me that people will work with you because of how you do what you do your way, and they will connect in that way. So people will purchase your product sometimes based off of even just your passion, the way you talk about it, the way you speak about it, not just based off the fact that your product will solve X. There's probably a ton of products that will solve X, but it doesn't have the story. It doesn't have you behind it. And in order for it to have you behind it, you really have to take care of you. You really got to take care of you. The other part of it all, when we're identifying why we need to take a step back, is when burnout tends to kick in. Sorry, it's not gonna come in and say, "Hey, hello, I'm burnout. I'm here to disrupt some stuff." That's not how it doesn't come out loud. It comes out very slow. Um, it comes out with covering. It's kind of like well, it's brain fog, but fog. It's kind of like a fog. You know when you're all of a sudden you wake up in the morning and it's foggy outside. We've all experienced it. Like the clouds, boom, drop. Now we kind of have to be a little bit more weary of our steps and how we're moving on the streets, right? It's very similar to that. It's like having a fog come down on your life and you're just like trying to figure out a way to navigate it. But you're navigating through it because you're like, I'm just going to navigate through it, right? Like you would during fog. But the difference between that is it comes down slowly. It's like fog tends to come down very slowly. That's kind of like burnout. It's not going to come in and just say, "Hey, I'm here." It's going to slowly come in and disrupt your program, your strategy. And that's another thing too, like give yourself grace. I was thinking about it this morning like I this has been like a whole year that I've maintained my weight loss. And honestly, losing the weight, not a problem, to be honest. Maintaining this is far more challenging because life is gonna creep in. As I say, life be life and people be peopling. Things are gonna happen. That's why I say give yourself grace, even in your entrepreneur journey. Things are going to happen that is out of your hands. There's nothing you could do except you could pivot and you can adapt. That's the best two things you can do. So when you're feeling like the slightest symptoms of like, something feels off, I feel irritable, I'm snapping, the things that I used to enjoy, I no longer enjoy. And this can go beyond entrepreneurs as well. This is a moment that you have to take a step back and reevaluate what has changed and what do I need. Not so much of what you want, because what you'll, as entrepreneurs, will say, well, I want to have this, so I know I got to do it. No, what do you need? And every week, I suggest you ask yourself, what is it that I need? Do I need more sleep? Do I need more play? Do I need to meet up with a friend and just like have that connection with my friend? Do I need to hang out with my family a bit more? Do I need to have a date night with my partner? What it is that you need is a question you have to constantly ask yourself every week. Remember, we're in it for the long game, not the short game. And every step that you take, it's like it's habit stacking, but it's habit stacking also for your strategy of what you're trying to build when it comes towards your successful life. All right? And success looks different for everybody, especially in entrepreneurship. I'm going to point this out because literally just saw this video before, and then we're going to get into the 4 steps. It was, forgot his name already. Ian Dunlop. He's part of the Assets and Liabilities podcast, that group. He posted something that says, yo, if you're in your mid 30s, you're halfway, you're at 50% of your life approximately. On average, he used American, I'm in Canada, but it's about the same. 70s is where a lot of people tend to unfortunately pass, right? And it really, like, I was eating breakfast. I didn't even have to finish it because I took 2 bites and I saw that video, and it really made me think that this is a lock-in season. But it's not just a lock-in season for entrepreneurship and my journey. It's a lock-in season for me to make sure I take care of myself. Because at 70 something years, in the video, it even said it was a sound, you can hit 80s, 90s, 100. I had a grandmother that lived to 95, her sister's 99 on my mother's side. Like, I've had on my father's side, I believe my grandfather was in his 80s. So there's I want to live long, but I want to live long in a sense where I have zero regrets and that I know I took care of myself. And I could say that now that I've really doubled down on taking care of myself, but I challenge you in your journey of entrepreneurship that you do the same. That not just about, yeah, you created generational wealth. That's fantastic, but generational wealth doesn't always have to adhere to just a monetary value. Generational wealth can be what you're leaving behind in terms of legacy and dropping gems. This is why I love content creating, because I had to realize this year that no matter what happens, whenever my time comes, knock on wood, my voice will live on forever. I don't know, but that is so dope to me. My voice will live on forever. There's generations that could tap into my videos, especially the way content creating is, that could tap into my videos long after I'm gone. And they can take pieces and gems to propel and use and push them forward. So when you think about just legacy and you think about your entrepreneur journey, and you think you just gotta grind because of coin and money and things like that, I want you to think of just about how you could take care of yourself and how you could tell people to do the same, because this is what I'm doing. I want other entrepreneurs to know that you could still build the life that you want, filled with success, but at the same time, you don't have to not take care of you. It's important that you do it. So, getting into the 4 steps that a lot of us tend to miss, I'm going to start off with play. And you're probably like, Coach, why are we starting off with play? I had a, a meeting. I host a Living Dope community meeting for Black women, and we were discussing what is one thing that we wish we did more in 2025. And fellow entrepreneur, she said, I wish I had more play. And it was so crazy that she said that, because throughout the whole year, I've been trying to figure out what it is that I've been missing. And I realized that I barely had any fun this year. Although I scheduled in my rest time, and I did each quarter, I forgot play. I had some, but I didn't have enough. I feel like I should have done more. So I want you to I want you to think about it, that we feel like rest sometimes needs to be earned, but sometimes we also feel like play needs to be earned. We feel like we have to have a really good week, product or service wise, in order for us to go and take care of ourselves. That is incorrect. You're allowed to have play. We're adults. The difference now that I find We got money. We're adults. You know, when you're a kid and your mom would say, you'd ask, "Hey, can I have McDonald's?" Yeah, do you have McDonald's money? No, actually, I do. You know, I have different types of money now. I can go get my favorite food or something this week. I could, have more playtime for yourself. Take care of you. And also do some more creative things. Maybe there's a drawing class you want to get involved in. There's a cooking class that I want to do. I found it. I'm going to be doing it next year. I created another bingo card but this time I created a bingo card, adding in more. I had play in it before, but now it's all play. And each month, I'm going to try to do one activity that's a non negotiable. Each month, I'm trying to do just one activity. And the point of that is, whether people come with me or not, I'm going to do it by myself if I have to. I'm going to do it with people. I'll invite. But the point of it is to invite more creativity and play. Because this stuff, it also helps build your business too. As much as we may not think it, it does. And in the same time of we talk about play and talk about fun, I want you to think about when you were a child and you were just running up and down. Mind you, your joints were able to do that. I get it. But when you were a kid and you're running up and down, how did you feel when you're playing with your friends? You were happy, you were energized, you were smiling. These things that we're not even thinking about, the play stuff regulates our nervous system. It takes care of us. Brings in those happy like hormones, like we're feeling good, yo. It's like when the sun hits your face and you immediately are like, ah. It's very similar to that. And we tend to move away from it as we become adults. And I think I'm not even just calling it entrepreneurship, I'm calling it adults. Have more play in your life in 2026. Do more things that you enjoy. Whether it's with your kids, whether it's without your kids, whether it's with somebody, whether it's not with anybody, start visioning the things that you enjoy that bring in creativity, that make you have laughter to the point where your belly is going to bust. You potentially could piss yourself. But bring that fun like back. I think we forget, as much as society tells us we're adults and that we got to pay bills, I think we tend to forget how important it is for us to still have a childlike self in us. There's still a kid in us that just wants us to do the things that make us feel good and happy. I envy children. I mean, shoot, they ain't got to pay no bills, but they get to live carefree. And we lose that because we get in this rigid regime of like, we got to do this, we got to do that. Yeah, I get it, responsibility. But do it in a fun way. You got to clean your house, play music, and dance, man. I despise washing dishes. I have a dishwasher, but every now and then, if I got to, yo, music is bumping. I got to do what I got to do. I got to get through it. And these things bring in happy feelings, joy, peace. And we got to tap into that more and more. If you don't like that stuff, yeah, hire somebody if you couldn't do it. But yeah. So yeah, music break. Walk away from your phone. Put your phone in another room and just for 20 to 30 minutes. I don't know, whatever you're comfortable with. Maybe start with 10 minutes and then work your way up. Be still for a moment. Go outside. Um, color. I saw a gentleman who's crocheting or knitting or something. And I don't have the patience for that. But I said, kudos to you. Can I get a scarf? I personally do not got the patience for it. My mama used to do crochet back in the day. But hey, I said, kudos to that man. Bust me a scarf. I appreciate it still. And I want you to think as I'm like mentioning these stuff, I hope that it's starting to jog that hamster wheel in your head of like maybe one thing that you're like, you know what? Coach is right. I'm actually going to challenge you because I've challenged other entrepreneurs, like friends, and I randomly did it on Threads yesterday. Think of three things, just three fun activities that you can do in the first quarter of 2026. Just three, one per month. Just three things that you can do for fun for yourself, which also it's like celebrating life in its little way. So do that. One, and you have to do it. It's a non-negotiable. If you got to write out a contract for yourself and put it somewhere close on your wall, then do it. But this is a non-negotiable. You have to get it done. Okay? We kind of touched on, we're going to go to step two. We kind of touched on rest. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. You don't need to earn rest. Rest is needed. It's the prescription before the prescription. What I mean by that is, many times when we're sick, we got a cold, we got this, we got that. What's like the first thing a doctor would say? Yeah, you just need to rest. You need to rest and let it heal. Okay, so with that being said, rest is needed. This is not up for debate. This is not up for discussion. Even if you have, I get a lot of parents like, well, how am I supposed to do that with the kids? You start instilling it to them as well. Hey, yo, the next half of this Sunday, we're going to be chilling. We're going to be resting. We're chilling in the living room, all of us. I say living room just because when we grew up in our generation, if you know, you know, we were sent to our rooms, right? So what I love now, what I'm seeing is kids like to be in the living room, and I love that. So yeah, come in the living room, hang out with us, just chill. You can do what you want to do, but come and chill with us. We like it. We like seeing your face. We like having your energy around us, doing things like that. And we're just gonna chill. Maybe we meditate. Maybe we talk about our week. Maybe we talk about what we have coming up ahead, how we feel about certain sports, how we feel about certain whatever. Hey, me at work, whatever the case is. Start bringing that same type of energy into the family as well. It helps over time. And just remember that you resting is not a sense of laziness. It's necessary. I saw a video yesterday, and it just kind of, it's ingrained in us as Caribbean children that Saturday is the day to clean. That doesn't happen until I sleep in. Like, and it doesn't even gotta be Saturday. Another way we talked about it last week on the live with Michaela, like you could break it down throughout the week. If that is not a gem, if you keep your place clean throughout the week, just like bit by bit, you could do the bigger things on the weekend, whatever, but the small things won't take up your time. Like that's just a way that you can keep on top of stuff so that on a weekend you have a good maybe day, half a day to do nothing. That helps a lot because if you're not gonna take care of yourself, yeah, burnout could kick in, but this is where exhaustion kicks in when you're not resting. This is where you think that overthinking feels like a strategy. It feels like you're stuck. It feels like and I also want to preface by saying that rest doesn't just mean that you take naps. Rest can mean you being still. Rest can mean you looking outside of the window for 10 minutes. Rest can mean you doing a crossword puzzle. Rest could mean that you're doing a puzzle. Rest could look different for everybody. It's not just like a one, hey, just lay down. That's not what it means. But a way as entrepreneurs that you can promote more rest for yourself is take a 10-minute break or 15-minute break. Like so I've worked in many places say take a 15. Incorporate that. Say, yo, put it on your schedule. I need a 15-minute break. Decompress. Walk away from your screen. Walk away from your phone. Start implementing it. Oh, you have a busy day? Bet. Make sure that you're still, that's the best time for you to really incorporate those. You need to do it. Unplug for once a week. You're going on vacations? Yo, I know it's hard, but if you can, leave the laptop at your yard. Leave it at home. Whatever it is, if they get a bounce back email, it will be there. The business will be there when you get back. Unless you're closing a deal, then I understand, right? But start using those moments of vacations for just that. Vacation, restoration. When it comes towards your rest, also think about your sleeping patterns. What is your PM routine? I ain't saying that you got to put on a whole bunch of like sleeping things on your face, but like, how do you decompress yourself before bed? What are you doing? Are you having a conversation with someone? Are you writing in your journal? Are you speak to text in your journal? What are you doing to decompress from your day? So the next step, we're going to talk about connection. And I think that the next two steps is going to be connections and community. I have the pleasure of being a part of a few communities, creating communities, and I have come to the realization the last 3 years that I wouldn't quite be exactly where I am without people speaking about me in spaces where I wasn't present. What I mean by that is the more that you connect, and yes, you have to find like the right connections with people, but what I've learned is people will connect with you by you just being yourself. Kind of going back to what I said, in terms of your product or your service. People will buy from you because of who you are. So, same thing when it comes towards how you connect with other people. They will talk about you in the rooms when you go to a meeting. This happened to me recently. I had a meeting and they said, yeah, so and so, I reached out because I saw that you worked with them. So and so said, yeah, coach? Yeah, yeah, she's a real deal. I was taken aback by that. Not really, because I know who I am, but it really put in perspective. Wow, when you're not in a room, people are still speaking highly of you. Again, my mentor said that work towards building your name to the point where your name speaks for itself. So I want you to think about any brand of potato chips that you love. The name speaks for itself now because it's been around. Whatever potato chip you buy, it's been around for years, decades probably, right? Any product that you, it's like almost like a household name. Feel me? So the name speaks for itself. So the sense of a trustness and trustworthiness into the product. That if you go and pick it up every time, you're like, man, this did what I wanted to do. This is why I trust this product. So when you're connecting with other people, connect from authenticity, so that when you're in rooms that you didn't even know that you were in rooms in because you're not physically there, you're mentally there because they're talking very highly of you. Community is important. Community is needed. Genuine community is needed. Mentorship is needed. Genuine mentorship is needed. I've heard, unfortunately, some horror stories. But when you find those spaces, you'll find yourself moving like you wouldn't did when you never would have had by yourself. We have this I could do bad by myself mentality when it comes to entrepreneurship, but there's only so far it could carry you. There's a moment where you're gonna need people to just help lift you up, to help carry you into a space that you probably never even dreamed of being in. This year, I closed down my online clothing store, and I closed it down in November. I did not feel upset about it because there's a part of my business that opened up so much that it took away. I said I'd give myself a year, and if nothing had changed, because this is drawing my attention, my workshops was just booming even bigger than I thought, and speeches were booming even bigger than I thought, that I didn't have enough time to put into my online store. So I closed it. Why am I going to spend money on something that I'm not able to take care of? And it wasn't a sense of defeat, it was a sense of we're pivoting. And the reason why it felt that way was because of the communities that I am in, the people that I surround myself with. And I was very, even the same people, the communities, they were like, I'm proud of you, because they understand that I have to pivot, I have to adapt. That's one chapter I dealt with. It could come back, like I can open it back up again. But as of right now, in the direction that I'm going, I can't. I honestly, mentally, physically cannot do it. It doesn't make sense. So don't ever feel as if those moments also, because I'm putting in three and four together, but don't ever feel that those moments are sense of defeat. It's a sense of growth. That is a sign that you were growing as a person, personally and professionally. And the reason why I'm also tying the two together is because in those moments of where you feel like, man, I'm failing and things are not going well, you'll have a community saying, but look at what you're doing. And they'll see the areas of where you are not seeing, because as we know, entrepreneurs, we're like this a lot of the times. But I encourage you to open up your view, because if you're just looking like this, you're missing out of what's on this side and what's on this side. And there could be something there that you need to see, something that you need to incorporate into your business, something or someone that has been just waiting for you to put down this or open it up just a bit so you can see them and they can say, okay, finally, I can help you. And it's the tricky part to it all. And I'm going to kind of wrap up with this. It is hard to accept help sometimes. And I could acknowledge that. Especially you're going to be on your guard a bit because some people have probably did you wrong. And yeah, let's keep it 1000% buck. Not everyone is rooting for you and your business. Some people could be just in it to grab what they want and they cut. But if you are intentional in seeking people who want to see you win and you genuinely want to see them win, it will grow your business in such a way, in such a love, in such a peace, in such a joy that you never would have even imagined. So I say be open. Be open to accepting help, but also be open to and intentional. Geez, be very intentional in what kind of help you want to receive. A way that you can do some emotional check-ins as an entrepreneur and just again check in with yourself. You could do this per week, per month, how it feels comfortable for you is what am I feeling? What's grounding me? Who do I need? Again, what am I feeling? What is grounding me? And who do I need? This is, again, working with your intentional space. Once you write that out, you say, I need a person who's going to do this. I'm feeling X, and what grounds me is this. This is all intention. Once you're putting that out there, it will center you with those that you need to be centered with. You understand me? At the same time, I also want you to check in and ask yourself, who supports you, who encourages you. Those are the one like if you're ever having moments of I don't know where to shift myself, I don't know who to speak with. In your circle itself, ask who supports you, who genuinely supports you, and who genuinely encourages you. And sometimes you got to test the waters. You have to like give them a look or something, and then you're like, oh, okay, I see your space. And once you kind of see their space, you see how they react, and you see, granted, everyone could be going through something, and perhaps hearing what you're doing is a bit of an upset for them. But now at that moment, you have to make a decision of what you want to continue to let them know you're doing, and what you want to open up to them. Or you could just say, you know what, X, Y, and Z is always like rah, 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 there for me, encouraging me, cheering for me every time something happens. Like that's how the energy is. Feed into them. Those are the environments that you could say, okay, I could come to you if I have an idea and I could bounce it off of you. That's the way you build community. And lastly, I'm gonna leave you with this. Community doesn't have to be like this huge like 50, 20, 30, whatever plus people. Community could just be two people. Okay. Contrary to what everyone probably will tell you, that's a community too. That's part of your circle. That's part of your crew. So don't ever think that it needs to be some massive, massive thing. Sometimes community could just be you and another person. That's all I got for y'all. I will see you on Tuesday. And we have another workshop coming up in January. I'm going to leave the link below. This is um, kind of going back a little bit about this, what we talked about today is stop shrinking yourself in 2026 because we're not going to be doing that anymore. All right. So I hope you enjoyed today's live session of Successful Sundays. Bam, 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 bam. I will see y'all next week. Y'all know what to do. Walk with peace. Walk with